Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum. Um, I'm honored, in fact, to stand here in front of all of you to present the SAY group. Actually, my presentation should have been followed by small introduction about what are the SDGs, but I'm trying to be as brief as possible. I am usually a big talker, so I'm gonna try to keep it very short. So we're talking, I'm gonna show you just a small presentation about what we do as a group. So the group have been founded almost 50 years ago, operating mainly in agriculture, manufacturing services, trading, retail, and recently in agriculture big time. I have put some of the companies that are part of the group who are mainly involved in what we are going to talk about today. So next, yeah. So many of you might know the little small companies within the Yaqub Group, but never within the umbrella of the Yaqub Group. But recently we have been joining that effort to really operate under the umbrella of the Yaqub Group and really joining the international efforts of sustainable development, the international standards, and also and to try to embed these standards within our operational model nationally. So for that, we have reformed ourselves recently within the past 2 years. Within the past 2 years to really focus on some of the SDGs. As we are talking sustainability and we're talking sustainable development, obviously not any organization can operate in all of them. But for us, was also a very new idea and ideology to really say, okay, we are going to operate in these particular goals because that's what we believe in. In fact, the way we came to know that, well, we want to focus on these is that we embedded the SDGs into our operational model. This explained in a way that we saw what we are doing, so how can we change what we are already doing and have expertise in to really incorporate that into the standards that are expected from us, and how do we have responsibility over what we already do. So not to really, not to carry it in our back and say, well, we cannot or we can approach this, but mainly just let's move within it. So we have chosen some of these goals as we already operating in them. Hunger, nutrition, poverty, gender equality, recently education, but not that much. But mainly as our area of expertise is industrialization and working within to develop, to have a common goal for all of us, to have our partner, those who work in the community that we work on, we all move towards the same goal. And so we focus a lot on 17. And 9 and 8, these are our really major goals. Next, because I already explained that. Next, yeah. So I'm just gonna walk very quickly through the different companies and what we do. It's also a very good platform for branding. And so we have Afritech. Afritech has been trading in Arabic gum, mainly processed and unprocessed, semi-processed. That is eventually are exported or used nationally. We are, however, following the international standards in that. And we are also now working on the supply chain at large to see how we could, what are the benefits of Arabic gum. As you can see, there is a huge revolution about the use of Arabic gum in almost every single product we use today. So if you walk into the supermarket, you find every single product has Arabic gum. But you would not know, they would not try that because they still use it as a code. So we as a Sudanese, what can we do with this supply chain in the future? So at the moment, we're only working on research, and hopefully in 5 years from now, we'll be standing here presenting to you a new model. Next. Samil, I'm going to be a bit biased here, that's my baby. So it's established in 2011. It's a factory that produces ready-to-use therapeutic foods for children suffering from malnutrition, with creating solution for them that can treat the child from severely malnourishment to a normal child. We've been doing this working closely with mainly the UN agencies, UNICEF and WFP, and a set of other INGOs, in which they're working closely with us to bring these products to the end kids. So in here we're really working on so zero hunger and good health for the children, but also gender equality, because and this is very interesting to introduce that through one of our school feedings. So at the moment we are working on a product to school children, and we realize that many kids just few kilometers from Khartoum, particularly females, are not going to school after a certain age because they either parents do not really believe in education, or they rather go work. And so the school meal has been really a very strong approach to keep kids at school when for attendance points, but also to bring a lot of also girls to school. Because, I mean, it's one meal less for the mom if she stayed home. From that point of view. And then we have Darfood. I am going to be very brief here because I'm presenting a case that is quite elaborating on the Darfood project. But Darfood is a company that we have opened recently, 2017. It was inaugurated. It started in 2015 as a dream and as a project on paper. That many of people who have read the pages did not really believe that this could be true, which is basically to establish a processing line for peanuts in Darfur, in one of the Darfur states. The choice have landed in Al Dain finally as being a strategic location, but also as an area that we knew, as a group we knew quite well, and we felt confident enough to start the factory there. Just back. It is quite huge. It produces up to 26,000 metric ton per annual year, which is 6 months, because we are planting seasonally. And yeah, I think that's it. So we'll talk more about our food in a bit. Now, since we have been working, since Samil has been established, and also Darfood recently, and we enter into the process of peanuts. We have come up with B2C product finally, which is called Gamarna. I advise any of you today to go to the supermarkets and try it because it's quite different than every other dakwa you will try. Gamarna is a peanut-based product that was initiated or established 2017 as a working feather with the peanuts processing and try to innovate more peanut-related products. I think what is really important to our topic today that the peanuts, the dakwa, is fully produced by women, fully. Like it's, I think they have 3 or 4 males working in that entire company. So, and it's also, it's one of its more one of the message they constantly trying to send with Gamarna, that it's peanuts usually, I don't know if many of you has a toxin called aflatoxin, which is, well, for human consumption, there is a particular range, and almost 80 to 90 something % of the peanuts on the street that we consume today is affected by aflatoxin. So Gamarna have really managed to bring out aflatoxin-free peanut, which is also by sending some health messages that we need to be aware about the peanuts that we consume, and we still could consume our normal products. Our traditional product in a bit more sophisticated way, clean and hygienic. Next. And then finally, An-Nakhil. Again, the Say Group has been a partner in Luli previously. I think we all know Luli very well because we all eat Luli sausages. So Nakhil is coming as a successor of that to bring, to really work on the supply chain of poultry in Sudan, and to be able to provide us with meat that is, that instead of exporting cattle, now we need to export meat. It's about time that we start thinking about the value chain of meat in Sudan. The project, it's in partnership with two other companies in Sudan, with Hajar and Bank of Khartoum. And I think for a very long time we start not having this type of partnership, and it's good to see that we also working on multiple level with other private sector to all, to bring the strengths of each party. The project it's expected to start in 2020, and I will be talking a bit about it towards the end of this presentation. Next. Yeah. Now is my presentation starting. So I'm gonna very shortly again speak about the Mechanized Agriculture Project, and this is a case study that I will be presenting to you, and just to show you that how we have really worked on the value chain. As I explained recently, we established Samil in 2017, and Samil is producing a product that is based on peanut. But because it's a franchisee of a French company, the quality of the product has to be really in compliance with the same quality as the European or as a standard of the franchisee, which is located in France. So when we first came to produce the product, we could not find peanuts that is adhering to the standard of the product, which is we had to import peanut. And that was like a really big hit in the back for Sudanese to do that. So we start immediately working on the supply chain of peanut. 2 years in the beginning, we were working in Al Jazeera with some farmers in Al Jazeera, and soon enough we took the project to the next level, and we realized is that if we really want to do and have an impact about peanut supply chain, we need to really be in where the peanuts are. So, and the peanuts are mainly planted in the Darfurian area, or Darfur states and Kordofan. The choice came to having a project there, and the vision of it was really to develop the peanut sector and to increase the production of groundnuts. These were the two major goals that we had. How we wanted, and this is mainly next. And this is mainly to supply, to go down to just explanation I did. There was a demand. There is a company that could produce the peanuts in at the end, and there is a huge need for it. And so we need to work all together with the farmers. So in order to see and to test this this project, we had a pilot in 2016 with some farmers. And we worked with 6 farmers to introduce a new conception or a new way of planting peanuts. Well, as we all know, since the Darfurian or the unrest in Darfur, we really have a huge issue with finding a labor. Now, people are not planting in this in the huge land because of the lack of labor, and so we had to find a solution. To increase productivity. Now, obviously, the only way forward to mechanize, and we took that challenge and introduced mechanical farming in Darfur. So with these 5 farmers, with the 6 farmers, just one With the 6 farmers we started, where the Yaqub Group have fully took care of the planting, the machineries, the running of the project, and it was really easy deal with them. Well, in the beginning, it's very hard was very hard to convince the farmers. So we told them, you guys are plant your own way. We will take part of your land, plant it in a mechanized way because they have never seen or have never farmed in a mechanized form. And of course, I mean, to listen to someone that tell you, okay, you need to change your way of operation doesn't go as easy. So we needed to show them. And soon after, the next year, that land that we farmed with this farmer has become a touristic area. Everyone wanted to see how the peanuts were aligned, and I will show you some pictures that align, and well, this they have never seen before. Now, the idea behind the project was really to empower the farmers, because for us, we needed the peanut. We need good quality peanuts for our entire supply chain, but we also understand if we want the best final product, we also need to start from the root. And starting from the roots means starting from where the peanuts are planted. So we had a partnership with the farmers, and we knew 3 things: that we needed to empower them, to support them, and we all need to benefit, okay? Because otherwise you will not be in. So we had, this is how the project stakeholders look like. So we work with local communities, so we did not invest in our own land. In fact, we worked with the land of the farmers. Farmers also lack finance, obviously. That was the main reason. The second main reason, other than labor, is the finance, and where the group have supported the farmers to link them with financier, which is we link them with some with commercial banks, and then the company, and we also guarantee them, of course, the buying of the product, because at last we wanted the product. And so for them was a win-win situation. So you have the equipment, you have the financier, the finance for it, and you have a market. So a better dream could not have happened to these farmers. Also, we're trying to work with some NGOs to support in the development of the region, because I mean this is also beyond our knowledge as a company, to take the full the full care of the project. So we also have put in the NGO or the civil society sector to support in capacity building and etc. So next slide, we're going to go very quickly through this. Yeah, next. So we have the Farmers Association. So we formed Farmers Association. And the farmers' role were really limited in the beginning of the years, because I mean this is for them the first time ever to use machinery. So they needed to be supervised. They needed to be trained, and the Yaqub Group have established I mean like a small working group that will support the operations of the project completely with the farmers. And we hope in 4 or 5 years' time, they would be able to take it off by themselves completely. So as I mentioned earlier, the state group has been the facilitator of the financial process. I mean, talking to the banks and try to convince them, and I mean, getting the right financier. The provision of machinery for the first year and the year to come. So we will slowly draw out and leave it completely for them. And finally, the project management and qualifications, because they need, of course, guidance through the first stage. Next. They need some guidance through the first stages. And of course, the operation of the machineries that goes by default in the area. And finally, what was most important to the farmer is the market. There was a market. So the farmers knows that whatever I plant, I will have a market, like I would be able to sell it. So the risk is really limited. So the role of the financier, which in our case was the bank, and I think that was the first time in ever that we mobilized microfinance fund to really support these farmers. Many banks are really not confident enough to give microfinance money out. But here the Yaqub Group have served as a grantor to the project, and so they were very at ease to give as many farmers as possible the fund. And so it was not for the Yaqub Group, it have not been so easy. In the future, we also are going to be working with donors, because there are a lot of agencies that are willing to support the farmers through their different association, and the donors here will act as a financier. We have also worked with government institutions, such as the State Ministry of Agriculture, and they were quite supportive. But also with them we also have many CSR projects in deforestation, planting of different crops in order to make use of the water and the land. And also with the High Commission for Environment in ISAR4, we're working to see how we could mobilize human and animal waste into natural fertilizer. So this is another project that we are doing towards the efforts for that. So as you can see, next. Yeah, here. The project, it's intending to cover a land of 57,000 acres by 5-year time, and we want to take gradually the farmers. We want to take gradually the farmers into completely being dependent in that area. And each year, so we are raising more awareness. It's also a challenge for us to start all at once. So year by year till we reach the targeted land size, and we intending to by the 5 year to have worked with 1,800 farmers. Already mentioned that. Next, yeah. And then, so this project has been quite a success for us. We personally very delighted to have done the impact just slightly after the season, and how the farmers and the community, like almost everyone in the community knew about the project. They're very eager, they're really happy because they finally found someone who really believe in them, were able to get them the finance, and there was a marketplace. And so for us was really important. And then we also saw back migration. You know, a lot of people were not in Darfur throughout the previous years, and many of them are going back to agriculture because they have inherited land that they was not utilized, but now there is a great motive for them to go back to planting. And so we believe after this model, it might be we want to combine the meat product, or I mean the cattle, because we're working in the same area. We're working in the same area, and it's equally rich, and so we hope through An-Nakhil, when it starts next year, we will have a marketplace for the farmers, and we would intend to also work with cattle bearers, because I mean farmers, many of the farmers that also breeding cattle bearers. So we hope by, again, 2 years from now, not 5, we'll be able to come to present the meat project instead of the peanut project. But I also wanted to mention, it was also for us very important that we motivate other businesses to operate in the same area and in the same field as possible, because there is huge unutilized land. There is huge opportunity in the region, not necessarily in peanut sector particularly, but all the agriculture sector. all the livestock sector. There are huge opportunity, and we were able to make it in less than 2 years. Therefore, it's now very attractive, and we by here invite other companies, other partner who are willing to hit that area of the country. We will be very delighted and happy to see our first footstep have brought by so many other behind us, because these people really deserve it, and they have been providing us with the majority of the wells in this land. Thank you very much.
So please remember, if we all help and do a little bit, it will make a big difference.